So what led me to come to ATMC was I had just undergone a manic episode, and about, I would say, 2 months prior to coming to ATMC, I started my manic episode, and I was first put into the mental hospital, where they then put me on Abilify. And then after that mental hospital stay, which was for 5 days, I went home, and I thought I had conquered that part of the manic episode, but apparently I had not, because I've never been on medication for more than, I don't know, just my mental hospital stay. So I did taper myself off cold turkey, and that was not such a good idea. So I got off the Abilify immediately after I came out of the hospital, and then I went right back into another manic episode, and this time it was a lot heavier, and I was into the mental hospital again, where they then put me on even higher doses and even on even more medication, which was Thorazine and Haldol and Lithium. And I was on very high doses, but then again, this is when we found orthomolecular therapy after my second stay at the mental hospital. I tapered myself off cold turkey again by coming off of Haldol and Thorazine and Lithium. And that again was not a good idea, but it was replaced by lithium orotate. And then again, I thought I had conquered that with the supplements, and I was so excited, but I tapered myself off too quickly, and I came back. I didn't know how to use the supplements correctly. I again ended up in the hospital for a third time, and there I was put on lithium, Depakote, and Haldol and Cogentin, and I was again in the mental, so I had been in the mental hospital now. That was 3 times prior to coming to ATMC, and I was on Depakote and Haldol and Cogentin, and I had switched lithium carbonate over to lithium orotate, so I didn't come over with that. But that's what was going on in my life. I was just undergoing this manic episode, and I was on and off all these different kinds of meds, and I was just kind of feeling helpless, and like I needed medication to kind of control and stave off this manic episode. And that's something that I knew I didn't want to live my life on, because I just knew that's just not the way for me. And I was so grateful to hear that I was going to come to ATMC to taper off correctly and just really undergo a spiritual journey. So my overall experience at the detox shop was one that I will never forget. I absolutely love the staff there, including Katie, Lotus, and Michelle. I'll never forget Katie coming in the mornings to come get me and make sure that I was feeling all right and up for the detox shop, and just always encouraging me to keep going in the sauna. I didn't think I was going to get up to 2 hours, and Katie just kept pushing me to go there, and I absolutely adore Katie. And Lotus, oh my gosh, I cannot say enough good things about Lotus. I connected with her so well. She knew what to say. She knew how to keep things going in a bubbly and fun manner, and she was so professional, but so kind and so patient and just so empathetic that I've never met a human quite like Lotus before. And Michelle is just such a dear, always just hanging or providing the foot baths and just being so loving. It was just at the detox shop, I felt very loved and very taken care of and very blessed to be there, even though at times there was moments I didn't want to be in the sauna for 2 hours, but it was just you know what, it was nice to just see Katie making the smoothies. I was in the infrared sauna, and I would just kind of Katie was my entertainment whenever she would make the smoothies and do the ice, and she made her job, everyone there made their jobs look so easy, and I was just so grateful that I could just sit back and relax and just detox. So that was great. It was an amazing experience. It felt amazing to be there in the detox shop, because the energy was phenomenal. The staff's energy was just amazing. So at the detox shop, it included the sauna for 2 hours, and then it included ionic foot baths and magnesium lavender baths. And when I was detoxing, it was definitely a spiritual detox as well, and an emotional detox, because there was times where it was just like I wasn't just sweating just to sweat. I was sweating to get out all this negativity and all of this fear and anxiety and anger, because when I'm in the sauna, all you can do is really like just sit there in 140 degrees, and your mind starts to race and it starts to wonder, and it can easily get anxious and it can easily get worried. But there I was able to, like, the staff was able to just come together and just always keep me calm, always keep me happy, always just ensure that I was just getting ready for life. You know, I was just detoxing everything that was making me scared and making me worried. And it did go beyond just sweating, and it did go beyond just being in the sauna. It went on to a deeper level. We had 5 evening groups, and they were all extremely helpful. But the most helpful of the evening groups for me was Dustin's 7 o'clock group on Tuesdays. He was amazing. He just was able to hold space in such a profound manner. And this past Tuesday, actually, before leaving, I was really anxious and nervous about going into another manic episode, but it was just, we did this exercise and seeing like what is it that we want to get rid of in our lives. And I did want to get rid of the mania, but Dustin made it a point, like, when we want to get rid of something, that there's a void, and what do we want to fill that void with? And I was always afraid that whatever I filled my manic void with would always just continue the cycle of mania. But the way he was able to approach me and assuage my fears of getting manic again was unbelievable, because he was just able to just stand there with me and just allow me to realize that, you know what, it's okay to be in the moment, and it's okay to go ahead to get manic, but you're going to have more tools to deal with it. And the tools that I learned at ATMC were crucial in understanding that I'm ready to go home and ready to, I'm prepared for this manic episode if it should happen again, as I've come to realize here that I'm stronger than any manic episode. In my transition back home, I feel completely supported. That's what I would always talk about being here, just talk about with my care manager and my therapist. It was trying to develop that plan of safety, and that how can I create a plan of security and safety for myself. And I feel so blessed to have been able to come here and develop that security net, because absolutely I have a family that loves me. I have the staff here immediately embraced me, and I always felt supported here. And I know most people aren't able to experience that because they feel alone in their plight, and I was so blessed to just be cared for and loved and be supported. So yes, I completely feel support in my transition home and in my transition here. So the tools that I learned here were had a lot to do with self-love and self-regulation, and it was just coming back to a center and being very mindful and being very trusting of that I'm going to be able to, I know myself well enough to identify the symptoms of the manic episode. And it was just a matter of being able to communicate that with my support system, such as my family, and especially my mom and my dad. And what I've been taught here is that it's okay to ask for help and to reach out and to advocate for yourself. And I've learned that not everything's going to be perfect and not everything's going to be solved overnight. And a manic episode isn't going to be solved overnight. It's going to take time, and it's going to feel like it's going to never go away. But what I've learned here is that by living in the present moment and by acknowledging what it is that you're going through, that you will be able to get past even your darkest moment. I absolutely loved everything about my stay at ATMC. I loved seeing the housekeepers in the morning. They always had such a cheerful and bright demeanor, and I loved my bed. It was always made for me. That was amazing. I loved the grounds. I would always see the groundskeeper maintaining the pool, maintaining the garden, and it was just such an idyllic setting that there was nothing really here that created anxiety or that created worry. However, it was quite interesting to me to see that people here still had that anxiety and still had that worry, and I still had my fears. But what ATMC does such a great job of doing is by meeting people where they were at, and I enjoyed that I was able to always reach out for help when I needed to, and I was able to always take, here was a day where every day was a mental health day. You were able to just meet yourself where you were at and do whatever it is that you needed to do to reset yourself and center yourself and relax yourself. So I absolutely loved it. There was no one particular thing that I can say that really I loved more than another. It was just the fact that I was able to do whatever it is I needed to do to heal myself, and ATMC created an amazing environment and cultivated an amazing environment to do that. If you're considering ATMC, do not even consider, just come here. It's a must. If you're able to, it is probably the best thing you could do for yourself. Honestly, the message that I would like to just say is just keep the faith. While I was here, there was moments where it always felt like I was in the right place, but it got difficult at times to the point where I wasn't happy with certain things about myself. I was just I don't think I can do this. I was losing faith in myself, and I was not sure if I could go on like this, because this journey was more of a spiritual odyssey, and it's something that no one should take lightly, but it's honestly one of the best experiences I've ever had, and you shouldn't consider anything else other than ATMC if you're trying to get off your medication, if you're trying to just get yourself rebalanced. This is the place where you cultivate mindfulness, cultivate self-compassion and love, and you just really learn to find yourself here. And I really believe that ATMC would help a lot of people with their goals.